The World Cup may be decided not just by tactics, but by who manages heat, hydration, and recovery before the first whistle. FIFA has announced 3-minute hydration breaks in each half of every 2026 World Cup match. That sounds simple, fair, and player-friendly. But here is the real question. Are those breaks enough to protect players from extreme heat? Before we continue, subscribe to the channel for evidence-based sports science explained in a practical way. This is not just a weather story. It is a physiology story. Football players produce enormous metabolic heat while sprinting, pressing, changing direction, and making tactical decisions under pressure. When the environment limits the body's ability to lose heat, performance can drop before anyone looks medically unsafe. The 2026 World Cup is different because it is bigger, longer, and spread across Canada, Mexico, and the United States. 48 teams will play 104 matches, with travel, different climates, and different recovery demands. The issue is trending now because the tournament is close, and teams are entering the final preparation window. That is when heat acclimation, cooling logistics, and match-day routines can still influence outcomes. A 2024 scientific report study by Lindner-Cendrowska and colleagues modeled all 16 World Cup venues using adjusted thermal stress indicators, sweat loss estimates, and oxygen volume constraints. Their analysis classified 10 of the 16 venues as very high risk for severe heat stress, with Arlington, Houston, and Monterrey standing out in afternoon windows. This does not mean every match will be dangerous. It means the risk depends strongly on venue, time of day, weather conditions, and the physical load of the match. One important point is that air temperature alone does not tell the full story. Heat strain depends on humidity, solar radiation, airflow, clothing, metabolic heat production, and the player's ability to evaporate sweat. That is why athlete-specific modeling matters. A comfortable index for a spectator does not necessarily capture the heat load of a football player running repeated high-intensity actions. FIFA's 3-minute hydration breaks are not meaningless. They create a predictable pause, allow players to drink, and can support basic cooling. But the evidence-based guidance in sports medicine argues for a wider system. That system includes heat acclimation, pre-cooling, halftime cooling, individualized hydration plans, monitoring where feasible, and travel or altitude planning. In other words, the break is useful, but it is only one layer. Heat can change football before it becomes a medical emergency. The guidelines summarize evidence that heat can reduce physical output, cognitive function, technical performance, and tactical execution. That means a team might press less, sprint less, recover more slowly between actions, or make poorer decisions late in the game. The tactical story and the physiological story are connected. This matters because heat stress does not always look dramatic. A player may not collapse. A team may simply lose intensity. The press becomes slower. The spacing becomes worse. The final pass is late. The defensive reaction is delayed. Fans might call it fatigue, mentality, or poor tactics. But part of the explanation may be thermoregulation. So what would a stronger heat plan look like? First, acclimate. Players need gradual exposure when possible, often over several days, so the body can adapt. Second, cool before, during, and after the match. This can include cold towels, ice slurries where appropriate, shade, fans, and structured halftime cooling. Third, hydrate individually. Sweat rates are not the same across players, and fluid plans should reflect that. Fourth, monitor conditions and player responses. Fifth, plan travel, training time, and recovery around the environmental load. For athletes and coaches outside elite football, the takeaway is simple. Do not treat drink more water as the entire heat strategy. Build a layered plan. Acclimate gradually over 5 to 14 days when possible. Move hard sessions away from the hottest part of the day. Use shade and active cooling. Track body mass and urine color trends. Replace electrolytes during heavy sweat days. And reduce intensity when heat risk is high. If performance suddenly drops in heat, that is not automatically a toughness problem. It may be a thermoregulation problem. The body is trying to protect itself. Smart training respects that signal. The bottom line is this. FIFA's hydration breaks help, but they do not solve the World Cup heat problem by themselves. The evidence points to a layered approach: acclimation, cooling, hydration, monitoring, scheduling, and recovery. The teams that manage heat well may protect health and preserve performance. The teams that treat it as a simple water break issue may lose more than fluids. If this video helped you, like it, subscribe to the channel, and follow the next video for more evidence-based sports science applied to real performance questions.